Hello and welcome back to another Co-Stars video. It is me, Morgan, and David here again to break down the latest Resident Evil Village trailer. This is the 4th trailer. We got it in lovely 4K here, so we're going to be seeing every single detail. We got a very interesting take on a few things that we'll mention when it comes to that. But yeah, this is going to be a casual breakdown, going through some things we've noticed. Obviously, we've looked through this a few times prior to doing this video, so we can, try and get a bit more of an in-depth discussion going and stuff like that throughout the video. But for the most part, we're going to keep this as casual as possible, not really script anything or anything like that. It's just going to be a casual talk as we go through it. So with that being said, before we get into the video, Dave, what were your overall thoughts on this trailer in particular, the 4th trailer? I personally think it was the best out of the 3 we got, just simply because it revealed so much yet so little. Like, we saw a lot more of Heisenberg, for example. Yeah,
it was the best. It's got me so hyped. This one definitely had more focus on that character, Carl Heisenberg. And there's one part in particular, we'll get more into it when it pops up in the trailer.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. He's a character we haven't got much on throughout any of the reveals or anything like that. He's been a character that's been in the background. It's been mainly Alcina dominated. So to see more of him in this trailer has been great. But yeah, let's stop rambling and just get on with the trailer breakdown. So from the get-go, you're introduced to what we thought was the ceremony site. Now, this isn't the ceremony site. This looks like a bridge between all 4 locations.
All 4 houses.
Yeah, all 4 houses, because you can see all 4 kings there, which obviously we noticed in the map breakdown. But yeah, at the time we thought this was the ceremony site, but I don't think that is the case anymore. So yeah, you see the 4 kings up close and personal there, and we get a nice little quote here as well. As the midnight moon rises on black wings, we await the light at the end. Now, this quote does go into something that it does have its meaning, but we can't go into it here because it's for a separate video. It's a quite an in-depth video that we're working on and going really in-depth with, so we feel like it's something that needs to be its own video instead of throwing into a trailer breakdown, because it is a lot of things are connecting and we're going so in-depth with it, and it's to do with like folklore and stuff like that. So yeah, believe it or not, this quote isn't like just some random gibberish. I feel like it does have its purpose. So the umbrella stuff, not really stuff that is being touched on in any trailer. Like, we're just seeing the logo but no explanation. Like, it doesn't seem to be hinted at to be a big focus in this game, you know what I mean?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think they would need to go too much into it anyway in the trailers.
Yeah, true. I mean, what could they show in trailers?
Yeah, maybe they're just thinking we're gonna show Ethan's story here, and Alcina and all the 4 houses, but within the game we'll find notes, and there'll be puzzles and talk about Umbrella and maybe how these 4 houses had a part way back. But overall, yeah, I think they're going to put more onto Ethan in the trailers.
Yeah, because it is Ethan's story and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, they are showing it a lot, because the Umbrella logo, it appears so much throughout the trailers. Throughout all 4 trailers, you see everywhere. But there's no mention of Umbrella. There's no like, oh, look at this, like anyone referencing Umbrella or anything like that. It's just showing the logo there. So it's like in your face, but at the same time isn't. It's like you're showing Umbrella constantly, but at the same time, how much of a role are Umbrella going to play, and the origins are going to play? You know what I mean? That's the exciting thing. This part, I can't really make out what. Like, there seems to be something around Ethan's face. It looks like a cog to the left. I can't even begin to tell what that is on the right. It ends up falling off. I don't know what the fuck it is. I thought it was like a mask at first, but I have no idea.
He's been caught in a trap by Heisenberg.
Probably, yeah.
No idea what that is.
So, Louise's house near the fields, we saw that on the map. We knew we was going to be going there at some point. It's a named location.
And I'm thinking that this is placed at the start of the game, somewhere, as Ethan goes into the village. So he's got a place to go, Louise's house.
Yeah.
And throughout this trailer, and even in the previous trailers, we have seen them around the table at one point, and we have all the fire. So I'm thinking that is,
we
that
even get more of
game.
that in this trailer, and we do see that Louise's house is in the village, so this is most definitely going to take place at the beginning. I'm almost certain of it, that it goes village, and then can't really tell what the structure's going to be after that, but I'm certain it starts with a village. So yeah, this looks like it's going to be at the beginning of the game, and you're going to, I'm assuming this woman speaking here is the young woman that you see a lot in the other trailers. Like, you see her with the guy with the grey hair. I'm assuming that's her. And then we see the caves. I can't really tell where this is on the map. This isn't Heisenberg's factory. At least I don't think so.
I think it's somewhere in the village, like a cave or somewhere you go underground. But remember, like, it's all going to be linked up. You're going to go from, like, underneath Heisenberg's factory to the castle. It's all going to be linked in some way.
Yeah,
you can't exactly pinpoint where this is.
This could be like underneath Heisenberg's factory because a lot of traps and that set up, and that's what, you know.
Yeah.
It seems like his part of the game when you're exploring his factory and whatnot will be a lot of puzzles and traps based, a bit like Lucas in Resident Evil 7, basically. So we see a lot of traps here and all that. Maybe this is underneath his factory, but it doesn't look like his factory, you know what I mean? So I don't think it's in his factory. I think if anything, if it is anywhere near his factory, it's underneath. Basically, we just basically see all the Lycans here. They look terrifying. I love how zombie-like they are as well. Like when I first got the idea of werewolves, I know you as well, Dave, thought the same. We thought, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like, why werewolves? Why Lycans?
Yeah, when you hear werewolves, you kind of just think, oh, it's gonna be that fast-paced, like annoying enemy type that they're gonna have. But from what we've been shown so far, it looks really, really good. And
exactly, they seem very similar to zombies.
It definitely goes back, to like the zombies from Raccoon and, you know, the T-virus. It kind of has those vibes to it. This place, by the way, it's definitely around the same time where, you know, we see later in the trailer Ethan's been captured. It kind of has that vibe to it, as you can see, like up the top there. It's somewhere in that area. I'm wondering where it's structured, but yeah.
Just trying to place whether this is before or after. If I was to say something, I'd say it's after that, simply because Ethan has a gun. But, you know, you can't really pinpoint that because they could capture him, like Heisenberg could capture him after this, take his guns away. So you literally can't say where it is, but you know it's roughly around the same area, either before or after. Probably the most interesting, like, if you were to pause the trailer at any moment, this would be the most interesting, like, shot and sequence of the entire trailer, simply because of what the fuck is going on here. You have Ethan captured, you have Heisenberg wielding his hammer, and we know he makes a little speech and all that because we see a bit more of this, of a snippet of this later on in the trailer. But look what we have here. So you have Alcina Dimitrescu to the left, obviously leader of House Dimitrescu. You have Heisenberg here, Carl Heisenberg, leader of House Heisenberg, and you have two other prominent figures here. One's to the right of Heisenberg there. I don't know what the fuck that is. I have no clue. It looks like a, from the look of it, it looks like a Hunter Gamma. Like, that's the sort of vibe I'm getting from that.
Yeah, it does.
That thing is certainly less human than the rest.
So yeah, here we have Carl Heisenberg, Alcina Dimitrescu to the left, then the other two. We don't know much about the other two houses, to be honest. We've never been shown them. We've been shown Heisenberg from the start. We've been shown Alcina, I mean, a lot from the start. But we don't know anything about House Benviento and House Morrow. We don't know anything about them. The one on the right, I would guess, is House Morrow, and the one on the left is Benviento. I could be wrong about that, but that's what I'm getting from here, just because the one on the right looks slimy, like a hunter, and we know that's where that sea monster is, that sea creature.
Yeah, it seems very like water-based. Also, the crest is like a mermaid, you know what I mean? It's very water sort of themed. Yeah. This looks like some sort of water creature. I have some sort of water mutant, so I'd guess that's House Moreau. Forgive us if we're saying the names wrong, by the way. I have no clue how to pronounce them, but yeah, I would agree. I think it's House Moreau on the right, and then whatever that figure is with the doll at the back is got to be Benviento. I'd say, if out of all the houses, this House Benviento is what we know least about. Like, we haven't been shown anything to do with it, from what we know, that is, obviously. And behind Heisenberg is Mother Miranda with all the wings, the feathers and stuff like that, and she's just standing there menacingly. She doesn't even move. So very interesting how you have all of the main characters in this one area. I'm
getting the vibe that House Benviento is going to be the creepiest, because that doll, I mean, the figure dressed in black with that creepy ass doll, I think that's going to be the creepiest part of the game, and I'm very interested to see what their roles are.
And here we see Ethan escaping. Now, this is pretty easy to place in the trailer. I think this is after the scene we just saw previously, because Ethan's hands are tied up and stuff like that, and I don't think he gets caught twice. So this has got to be after that. How he escapes, though, we have no idea. Dave mentioned something along the lines of, like, him when he's going to slam the hammer down, maybe he hits the floor and Ethan falls through, because there is a chance that Heisenberg isn't as bad as we all think, and we will go into that a bit more later on when we see Heisenberg again. But I thought that was a cool theory by David.
Yeah, just come to my mind. Maybe he ruins that on purpose. Maybe Heisenberg wants him all to himself. Maybe there's some drama between the houses, because Alcina does call him a fool.
Yeah, and we have seen that during the gameplay that we got shown a few days ago. We see a bit more of that cutscene where she says like he escaped that fool Heisenberg. We see the end of that, and she basically speaking to Mother Miranda. She's saying, like, I of course I know what's at stake with the ceremony. I won't let you down. But then she throws the table and she says, to hell with the ceremony. When I catch Ethan, she's gonna basically kill him. So she seems to be going against Mother Miranda herself. So it seems like there is drama within the four houses here, and like to the extent that they're even going to disobey Mother Miranda, which is something that's huge. Like, there's definitely some sort of conflict there, which I'm very interested to learn about. Now, this is something that I find interesting. She refers to him as her little brother. You can only assume she's talking about Heisenberg, right? I don't know. I don't see who else she'd be referring to as my little brother's idiot games. We know that from the looks of things and from what we know about Heisenberg, he is someone who like plays like kind of toys with Ethan. As I said, very similar to Ethan, very similar to Lucas from Resident Evil 7. So yeah, I don't know who she's referring to here, honestly.
I mean, they could be throwing you off completely, and there's a character we don't know about that is within the family, and she does have a brother. Maybe that's the case, but no, it does seem like she's referring to Heisenberg as her little brother.
She mentions that full Heisenberg, but then here she's referring to my little brother. I don't know. They could be throwing us off, but if they are, then they're doing a very good job of hiding that. But then again, they've not really shown us much. With Resident Evil Village, what I'm so hyped about is that they've shown us so like a lot, but so little as well.
Yeah, it's strange how they've shown so much, but they've kept a lot of it under wraps.
Yeah, like, exactly. So
I know there's probably spoilers out there, unfortunately, but overall they've done a good job with this. It's got you thinking.
I agree. So yeah, this is either her talking about Heisenberg or it's her talking about a character we are yet to meet, and they're just throwing us off. So we have to wait and see with that one. So here we see Ethan get his hand slit, and she wants to see how special he is by tasting his blood. Now remember, Ethan does have infected blood. He is infected by the mold. It's just not taking effect, and it's sort of at a pause basically, but it is still in his blood. And by the looks of her face, she don't like what she's tasting. So this mold in his blood's probably not it for her. But she speaks about how special he is. We know that Ethan's known around this village, and there's some massive, like, he seems to be like some sort of legend by the way everyone talks about him, and even showed it later on in this trailer where everyone's like, Ethan Winters. Like, he is a big deal, and you can only assume it's because of his blood type, because he's got the molded in him. You know, it is a virus.
That is one thing I'm really looking forward to in this game. They are, especially this trailer, they are putting the focus on his name, like Ethan Winters. We won't go through Resident Evil 7. The biggest criticism of that game is Ethan was just some random guy. How did he survive all that? Who is this guy? We don't even see his face. I love how this game, it's exploring all of that. Like, it really is going to show you why he was just some random guy who was able to survive a lot of things, maybe. And yeah, you're just exploring the character. I love that. It's going to give a different feel as well when you go back to play Resident Evil 7. So, you know, I'm really liking where they're going with this.
So yeah, she's tasting his blood. Maybe she can, I don't know, maybe there's some sort of way she can detect whether there's like some sort of virus within blood or something. I have no idea. Now let's take a moment to appreciate how good this game looks. Like, Resident Evil 7's quite dull in colours, right? It's a very dull looking game on purpose. It's meant to be. This game seems to be going all out there with colours and the environment. The level design looks incredible and looks like a step up, 10 steps up from Resident Evil 7. And Resident Evil 7 was great, so yeah, really loving the level design, just the environments. They're really going all out there and got a bit more colour to it as well, so I really enjoy that. So all that's left from the village, there seems to be about five people there. And this one injured fellow in the middle. And
we've seen this scene in a few of the trailers. I think it was in the first ever trailer. We saw this guy here. It seems like the young girl next to him is his daughter, maybe. That's just my guess.
If you was to
guess, some young
yeah.
relative of his. Because we see them in the first ever trailer too, and it seems like they're together. And he's been injured. And in this scene here, we see him turning. It's like he's turning into a Lycan.
Yep.
We don't know anyone else around this table. I guess they all die and you get out with this young girl here. But yeah, very interesting to see where that goes. We see her in the first ever trailer too. In fact, we see her again in this trailer. She has a lantern with her.
She's the woman that I was mentioning before about how she's the one we've been seeing most, and I think she's the one who says, "Meet us at if anyone's alive, meet us at Louise's house." I think this is that house, and yeah, we do see this guy. I think it's just after this. That's him turning into a Lycan, and we can even see there. I think if you can pause at the right moment, you can see his white hair right there to the left. That is him turning into a Lycan. He attacks everyone. Things go to shit. You can only assume the lantern that was on the table has probably fallen off, causing the fire. Something like that.
And that's attracted more of the Lycans around the area.
So yeah, I think that'll be the end to the village section of the game before you move on to the graveyard and stuff. Love this part here. Very reminiscent of the Resident Evil 7 first boss fight when you come across Jack Baker in the garage. You get in the car and you start ramming into that motherfucker. This is very reminiscent of that.
And as you can see there, it says we can bust out with this. So Ethan, he makes it out with someone, and it's going to be that young girl.
Yeah.
So I wonder what happens with her. How big of a character will she be? I hope there's a lot to her. My guess is that if I have an early prediction, she would die soon after. But yeah, I wonder if she's gonna be that voice of reason there in the village. Like, she knows quite a bit, and she's grown up there. Maybe she's grown up there and she knows a lot about the village, and she's got that innocence to her. I don't know. Maybe she just has a lot of answers.
I don't reckon she'll last long after this, to be honest with you. I think she will die very shortly after this. Maybe they will get out, but they'll be very close to getting out, but ultimately Ethan will be the only one who makes it out. But yeah, also, we can bust out with this. He might not even be saying this in this scene. Like, I know for a fact there's some quotes in this trailer that don't match up to the scene that they're being said at, you know what I mean? Nope. So they could be messing around with quotes as well, and this could be one of them. But this seems like this doesn't seem like a quote that they would go out their way to try and throw viewers off with. So
yeah, a very good example of that is that one line with Ethan saying, "Chris, what the hell?" They've shown that a few times in different parts.
Yeah, it's been at least 3 different scenes.
Yeah, so it makes you wonder, where does he say that? I mean, my obvious guess is that he says that when Chris bursts in his house, but we'll have to wait and see. That's a good example, though. They do mess with you with the trailers.
You see what seems to be Heisenberg's factory now. It looks very factory-like, I guess. Can't really tell when this takes place or whatnot, but Ethan's got his gun, so maybe it's before he's captured, maybe it's after. I'm not entirely sure. So this is, once again, what we were talking about earlier, the more in-depth version of that scene. You see Mother Miranda there. She looks quite young as well, which is something I want to add. If you thought, before we even saw anything about Mother Miranda, I thought she was going to be an old woman. I'm not going to lie, I thought she was going to be an old woman. She seems quite young. And we do have a theory video on Mother Miranda coming very soon, so stay tuned for that. So we're not going to go into that here. But there's some interesting things me and David have found digging in. And remember, it is a theory, so we're not saying this is the case or whatever. But it does involve Alex Wesker. I know a lot of people are going to be sighing and shaking their heads at this. But trust me, watch that theory video. You will see how we start to make some sense of stuff that is there. Basically, it's not just like the theory that came out a while ago where it was like Alcina is Alex Wesker, and then her 3 children are Claire, Moira, and it's none of that. There's an actual basis to this and a reason and a explanation as to why this could be the case. We don't just throw theories out there.
Yeah, and there's some very interesting hints. I mean, it's all fun, really. It's a theory. I personally, I don't think it's the case, whatever, but in that video we do go through a lot of things that they do match up, and yeah, keep an eye out for that video.
So just some final thoughts on this scene here. This could be the ceremony site. It could be. If you look on the map, the ceremony site, you can't exactly see what the ceremony site is. It's in between some hole in the ground near the graveyard and the 4 statues, but you can't tell. It could be the hole in the ground, because if you look up at the top of this, you can see there is a hole in the ground, so this could be the ceremony site. But I don't think they'd show, it seems like this whole game is leading up to the ceremony site. That's the end of the game. I don't think they'd show that in a trailer. I don't think they'd show anything to do with that in a trailer. So I don't know. They could do, but I personally don't think so. I don't think this is ceremony. I think this is something that happens at the beginning of the game that gets you familiarized with all the characters you're going to be going up against, basically all the houses. And here we see, looks to be some sort of important knife. I mean, it's coming from the casket of what you can assume to be a distant, not distant relative, but a long dead relative of the Dimitrescu house. maybe like Alcina's father or something from fucking God knows how many years ago.
This is definitely in the castle. We see in another trailer, Ethan's walking up to this casket and it has the House Dimitrescu sigil on it. So this is of some importance, and I'm thinking maybe you'll find a note in the game, or there'll be something that tells you about this knife. Maybe this is the only weapon that can kill the daughters. Maybe not Alcina, because she seems a bit different, more like a tyrant, but the daughters...
Yeah, I mean, we have seen that bullets don't affect them. Like, you can see in one of the trailers, he shoots at them, they just turn to the flares. So maybe it's got to be some sort of special weapon. Yeah, it's got to be some sort of special weapon. Maybe this is the knife that can kill them, and there'll probably be some sort of note knowing Resident Evil. See the sniper rifle, glorious sniper rifle. They're looking forward to using the guns in this game. They look very fun to use. I don't think combat was the strongest feature of Resident Evil 7, so it looks like they're going all out with that in this game and changing that up. So looking forward to using a sniper. See that big thing there of the hammer. A lot of people thought this was going to be Heisenberg. Still could be because of the hammer, but I personally don't think so. I don't think this guy's related to Heisenberg in the slightest.
It's definitely around House Heisenberg, because to the right there's a horse. We see that. It's also the House Heisenberg sigil. It's got the horse and the horseshoe.
I mean, good point, yeah.
It's definitely that area, and it's like a bigger version of his hammer. So it's a possibility that this could be him. I don't think it is, but it's a possibility because I feel like he's going to have something to him, right? All of those four very important characters of all the houses, they're going to have some sort of ability. We know that Alcina's like a tyrant, kind of, with her claws and whatnot. Then we have Heisenberg. Maybe he is a big werewolf. I mean, it's possible.
It is possible. Like you said, it's 100% a possibility. You can't say it isn't, unless you've read spoilers or whatever. You can't say it isn't. It is. From the looks of the hammer, it could be. I just personally don't think it is, because in this trailer in particular, they seem to hype up Heisenberg to be more of an important character than we initially thought. So yeah, it could be, but I don't think it is him. This looks so good. This gives me Dead Factory from Resident Evil 3 vibes.
Yes.
And it looks so impressive. It looks like fucking concept art. It doesn't even look like the game. It looks so good. It looks like a cutscene.
To be honest, this does look like a cutscene, yeah.
Yeah, it really does look like a cutscene. It looks too good to be in-game. What we see here is a factory, obviously. Probably Heisenberg's factory. More importantly, we see bodies being transported. I don't know what this could be. There's only a few things it could be. This is either mass production of Lycans, or it's, I don't know, maybe dead villagers that they're experimenting on some sort of conveyor belt, leading them up to some sort of lab area or something. Like it's got to be something along those lines. But you really can't tell.
Yeah, I think it's the Lycans, or it's probably something to do with Alcina and how they get their blood. The barrels. Maybe that's just like this big production thing going on within the village.
Very interesting thing here we see with the bridges going up. I thought at first that could be the suspension bridge, but I don't think so. It doesn't look the same at all. That's obviously some sort of puzzle there. But the only bridge we see on the map is the suspension bridge.
That's definitely a puzzle in the game. You've got to get something, maybe a crank, typical Resident Evil fashion. Yep. And that's a little cutscene there which raises the bridge.
Now on to this. This thing looks so messed up. You can just see it from here. Look at its jaw. This thing it's weird because it looks, in the face, looks so human, but at the same time doesn't look human at all. The facial features are human facial features, but just everything else is just like, no, that isn't human. That's werewolf. That's Lycan. I think this, personally, from what we've seen, this is probably going to be the most terrifying thing we've seen in this game yet. Like, easily. If we have to fight this thing... I think
it's going to be like a mini boss, probably.
Yeah, I think it will be. Or even a boss itself. This thing is going to shit me up. I really hope you don't have to fight this son of a bitch. It looks creepy.
Come on, we are definitely fighting that.
Speaking of more monsters, we have the Del Lago number 2, I guess, where we're going to be... you can assume we're going to fight this in the lake near House Maru. I think it has a name. I can't remember what the lake's called though, but yeah, you see the sluice gate in front of you as well, so that leads underground somewhere.
And you are on a boat, and I mentioned this in our map video about how it's possible you could have a boat to get around the river sections of village. It's possible that you get on this boat just to go through that gate and that's it. But I mean, I would say it's even more possibility now that you could probably go into different sections with this boat. Yeah,
or go back and forth basically in case you miss something or want to go and explore more.
And And could this be an optional boss fight? Because it seems like if you can go to your destination or whatever, you have to defeat this. Yeah,
because it's still alive. You don't see any indication of Ethan fighting this, but the sluice gate's open. So what's stopping you from just like waltzing on in? You know what I mean? So yeah, I do get what you mean there. It'd be pretty anticlimactic though if you see this jump over you and then you just fuck off to never see it again. So maybe they'll sort of force you into a boss fight after. Maybe that's just like an introduction or something. No idea.
I'm hoping it could be a optional boss fight, but remember you get your currency in this game when you get, I don't know, special recipes or whatever. I've not really looked too much into that on what you can do with the cooking and whatnot. But maybe defeating this boss gives you something special, like a big bonus to help you throughout the game. We know this game's going to be a pretty big game, right? I mean, it's got a lot of stuff in it. Maybe this is one of those optional things where, yeah, there's story to it. It's a big, terrifying sea creature, but maybe defeating it gives you some sort of perk. Yeah,
it's up to the player whether they want to go through with fighting it or whatnot. Also, because it's typical Resident Evil, ammo is scarce and all that, and you want to choose your fights and whatnot. This would be a pretty big fight to choose. You know what I mean? You'd be risking a lot of resources and stuff like that, especially on the harder difficulties. Which, Absolutely. By the way, me and David are obviously going to jump into right away. Going to go full on. Well, I can't remember what the mode's called, but this game's equivalent of Madhouse, basically the hardest mode. Going to jump straight into that on first playthrough. I want this game to last as long as possible. This is the thing here. You see it. Look at the state of this. that thing. That is unsettling. Very rarely do I see something and it actually unsettles me. And yeah, look, Chris, what the hell? Like, the quotes don't match the scene. I know following this is the Chris scene, but we've heard that quote in like at least 3 different scenes now. It doesn't match up. You can't really pinpoint when it's going to be.
I mean, I think personally that's when Chris bursts into his house. Just the way he's saying that, like, Chris, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, that does make sense.
But yeah, we'll speak about that at another time because we've gone over that part quite a bit. But yeah, this creature looks terrifying. Like, the creature designs in this game, that's one thing I'll give them. The molded in RE7 I had a big problem with because they weren't, I mean, they would make you jump at times, but
they weren't just creepy. They just looked like,
they're just big blobs. Like, they weren't, there's nothing really to them. This game's gone the opposite route, and I think they did say that, didn't they, in like in a making of video or interview with one of the developers or something, where they were mentioning how, they got a lot of feedback from RE7 and they wanted to like change a lot of things in RE8. And yeah, that's something that they've definitely looked at and they thought, we'll up our game here, and they sure as hell have upped their game. You'll look back on this game and you'll be like, it's got those unique creature designs, That's what I love about it.
I think we see Chris here. There we go. Also want to say Chris's character design is perfect. He still has I believe they're still using the face from the RE7 Chris. So that the actual actor whose face they've taken, I think they're still using that face, but they've morphed it into a more true to Chris design. Like, he looks more like the Resident Evil 6 and 5 Chris that we've seen. So I really love that.
If you mix the Resident Evil 5 Chris and the Resident Evil 7 Chris, this is the Chris you get. I think it's a perfect blend.
And we get the Ethan Winters quotes from everyone, so he's like a big deal. Everyone knows this guy's name. He's some sort of legend somehow, which is strange because Ethan, to all the fan base, is just a nobody. He's like the most bland character we've ever seen in Resident Evil. So I find that very interesting.
How does this village know about Ethan? How does this village, this whole village, know about Ethan Winters?
Exactly.
It's something that I keep thinking about. Like,
yeah, and it's not something you can even. It's not something you can even predict. Like, there could be so many. There's so many possibilities as to how this village knows about it. So in terms of that, I'm not even going to bother trying to predict that. It could literally be so many possibilities. No point even doing it. This part here, this scene here, is probably the most interesting part, or one of the most interesting parts of the trailer. We see Heisenberg here, right? In the background, you can see Alcina Dimitrescu, a big picture of her with an X going across her face. You can also see next to that what I think and what David thinks to be Mia. Looks like her reading a book to a baby. If you just look at it carefully, you can sort of see like a baby in her arm and a book. Maybe reading the Village of the Shadows.
The Village of the Shadows. And then to the right we have Chris, and then on top we have another picture of a baby. At first I was like, wait. Yeah, I was like, who could that be? Because like, it kind of messes with you, like, because it's so blurry and you get these images in your head and you're like, what is that? But no, that is an infant. That could be Rose. Could be another baby, but that could be Rose. Looking to the side, like, that's a portrait of Rose. Yeah, it is blurry, but you can sort of make stuff out. I'm certain that it's Alcina, Mia, Rose, or some baby, or and then Chris to the right of that. Now, at first, I said to David,
maybe this is Chris's little setup. It looks very, you know, like some sort of investigation's going on here. Who's the sort of person that's going to do an investigation? No one else is going to do an investigation. It'd be Chris. Yeah, maybe his little hideout, because we did get that little teaser from the Resident Evil Twitter page where it was like some sort of document of Chris reporting back to someone. So maybe this was going to be his hideout, but I thought, no, that can't be the case, because Chris's photo, or what looks to be Chris's photo, is on the board there. I'm certain that's Chris. It doesn't look like anyone else. Even blurred, it looks like Chris. So why would Chris have a picture of himself up? He wouldn't. And then you have Alcina with the X across her face. Does that mean at this point in the game she's dead? Does that mean that whoever is conducting this investigation just doesn't like Alcina? And then Resident Evil Twitter put up a very interesting, or not Resident Evil Twitter, on the Resident Evil website, Resident Evil Village website, they put up a very interesting post where it says, it basically shows Heisenberg, and it says, Carl Heisenberg, a strange man who wields a massive hammer. Could he be a friend or a foe? Now this really threw a spanner in the works and got me and David thinking. I was thinking, hold up a minute. Why on earth would they mention could he be a friend or a foe? Not one moment during any of these trailers or during any of the marketing or anything of Village in general have they ever even insinuated that this guy is a friend to Ethan. Everything they've shown makes him look like a villain. But now all of a sudden they've thrown in the possibility of him being a friend. Like, what the hell's that about? And then you start to see stuff like, you start to piece together other things like Alcina saying, I see you've escaped that fool Heisenberg, and, you know, her going against Mother Miranda. You see this sort of conflict between the houses there. And then he gets more of a prominent feature in this trailer. I'm starting to think this guy doesn't like Alcina, so he's helping Ethan in some way. Like, this guy, I'm certain, isn't all he's chalked up to be. I think he's going to be, I wouldn't go as far as to say friend, but someone who is going to help Ethan in some way. Now, that could be for his own gain, or it could be to genuinely help Ethan, like, as a whole, get back Rose or something like that, which I don't really think is the case, because he is, you know, the leader of House Heisenberg, and this is, I don't know, I just don't see him being a friend to Ethan. I think it's more of a personal thing against, like, Alcina or something. But either way, I think he is going to help you in some way, basically. And I found that very interesting.
Something else I just thought about is this scene here. I have a feeling you're going to find out a lot more to do with him. And I don't think this is going to be one of those things where he's taunting you. With all that stuff in the background there, he's clearly got something against Alcina. But he also knows Chris. And he like, is he some... Like, he's clearly smart if he's got all these pictures behind him. Now, of course, this might not be his place. That could just be Chris's. But like Morgan said, why would Chris have a picture of himself on the wall? It's just strange to have that. So yeah, the fact that he's got all these pictures on the wall and he's crossed out Alcina, I have a feeling in this scene here, he's going to tell you about Alcina and her castle. And maybe, just off the top of my head, maybe he tells you about that dagger that you pick up later on. Maybe he tells you about the way to get rid of Alcina and her daughters. That would be a very, very interesting path for the story to go with Heisenberg, where, you know, he's this enemy, but his conflict with Alcina is getting in the way of everything. And maybe eventually, you know, throughout the game, it all blows up. I mean, there's so many possibilities.
That is definitely how I see it going. Like, I don't think he'll be a friend, but I think it's something more personal, and more like a feud between them, basically, that can actually involve Ethan. He can gain from it, basically. That's where I see this going. But I thought that was very interesting. Here we see Ethan speaking to Mia in some sort of, I'm assuming this is some sort of dream or hallucination or something like that. This is definitely not something that happens in reality. This is something in Ethan's head. There is speak of this game being very psychological as well, and a lot of stuff weighing in on, like, Ethan's trauma and stuff like that from the Dolby incident and stuff like that. So I think this is in his head, and at least a dream or a hallucination of some sort. Very interesting stuff. This is the part earlier where we mentioned we have a whole video dedicated to, like, what's going on in this scene, who this witch is, and how it relates to, like, the ceremony and stuff like that. We've got such a big video, but we're still just doing a bit more research and stuff and polishing up a few ideas and stuff like that. But we have a very good idea of what the hell's going on here, and we can probably pinpoint exactly what this witch is doing, what she's holding and stuff like that. Just stay tuned for that video. I'm hoping it will turn out really good. But yeah, this is taking place in the castle. They've released an image of this place on their actual website, in the castle, where you see that big mural in the background, which shows all four houses and the Umbrella logo, like, in big on the wall. And this is that very location. You can see the candles on the floor match up to where the candles are in the picture and stuff like that. It's definitely the same place. So I thought that was very interesting. Some sort of altar here, but as I said, we'll go more into that in the video we got coming up. Very interesting part here. So this is one of, I don't know how many, I think it's like 3 elite members of Chris's new faction that they revealed to be called the Hound Wolf Squad, I think they're called. Don't know who this could be, don't recognize anything on their outfit, don't recognize the gun they're using, don't recognize their voice, no clue who this could be. Don't think it's anyone in particular, to be honest with you, but you never know with Resident Evil. And then Chris says he's surprised he's made it this far. It'd be a shame if something happened to him now. I want to make one thing clear. In this story, I don't think Chris is a bad guy. Like, I don't think how they're portraying him is how he is. I think, yes, he has killed Mia. Yes, he has taken a baby, but like, we're seeing that out of context. I think there is a very clear context to that. I want you to understand that. It's dark, and it's pushing Chris in a dark place, but not for the reason we think, not because he's turning evil or something like that. It's just what the circumstances are. So basically, Mia, for example, I don't think Mia was in the right state of mind. Yeah, again, with another video coming on that, with loads of videos planned coming within the next few days. But yeah, I think it's something along the lines of, look, he's noticed something about Mia in some way. There's been some sort of conversation with Ethan or something where he realizes that Mia isn't exactly Mia anymore, and he's taken her out for that reason, and he's taken the kid to protect it, not to give it away. You know what I mean? I think it's that sort of thing here. I think once we learn context to it, we'll realize it's a very dark situation, and it's why Chris is in such a dark place and why he seems so dark, but it's not for the reason we think, basically. I think context will clear all that up. But yeah, he seems to be using some sort of device. Honestly, can't tell what that is. I don't think Chris is scrolling fucking Instagram or something, but I have no clue what that is. You can't really tell. At first, I didn't think it was a phone, but it does look like he's swiping something with his finger. But yeah, that is the trailer. We spent longer than we should have on that, but yeah, you know, we're to give all of our thoughts and try and go as in-depth as possible. As a massive discussion video, and there's so many possibilities. That's why this video has been so long, because we're trying to cover pretty much everything. And also, we haven't uploaded in like a month, 2 months pretty much. So I think this is a nice solid video to come back. Maybe something that people can just throw on in the background, doing their work or whatever, just listen to some theories, give your own. That is one thing I definitely want. As always, I want you legends to put your thoughts, your theories down below if you agree with us. Maybe there's something we've said that has ticked something in your mind and you thought, hold up a minute, and adding on to stuff we've said. But yeah, we've got a load of videos planned, so many videos planned that we're going to be dropping throughout the next few days, few weeks even. You know, you got the village demo coming out tomorrow that we'll be doing a gameplay video of. There's so much content, and I'm living for it. Also, the Infinite Darkness stuff and all that. Stay tuned for a bunch of videos coming up here on Code Stars. But yeah, we hope you enjoyed this trailer breakdown. We've been doing this video for ages. I'm not sure when it's all cut up and edited how long it's actually going to be. If it is long, I do apologize. But I do remember someone saying, make your videos longer. So, you know, to that person, they're going to be happy.
There you
but
go.
Yeah,
you got your wish.
So we hope you enjoyed this video. Leave your thoughts and comments down below in the comment section. Hit a like on the video if you can. Does help, especially getting the video recognized, you know, put in like recommended and stuff like that. Liking the video definitely helps with that. And obviously subscribe if you're a Resident Evil fan. It's a no-brainer, because we're going to be covering Resident Evil left, right and center. With all the Resident Evil news we're getting, you're definitely going to want to subscribe and see the videos we've got planned. We've got some really good videos planned, and we're definitely going to be more consistent. Not really much news was dropped within the last like month or so. We were sort of just waiting closer to release because we knew we was going to get stuff. So yeah, stay tuned for more frequent content as well. But we hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, cheers for watching, everyone.